Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and this is a quick React props masterclass. Just a quick video on the different ways you can use React props. So again, what props is sort of short for properties. The idea is you're passing in information to a React component via what would normally be called an HTML attribute, something like this. Okay? So a component that renders another component can always pass information to that component. Okay, so let's talk about it. So let's create a component. So I'm going to create a new file. Okay, actually I can keep it all in the same file. So what I'm going to do is just create another component real quick. So const dummy component, or const dummy equals props. Okay, and then we do a little arrow. And what we're going to do is we're going to console.log props, because I want to illustrate a point. Props. Oh, nope, comma. And colon over here. And then we're just going to return an h1 that says dummy. So we can see that the component is being rendered. Okay, so this is one component. So this is my dummy component. So I'll just put a comment there, the dummy, and then here's my app component. Okay, again, all a component is at the end of the day when you're doing functional components, it's just a function that returns JSX. Okay, so I'm going to use the dummy component, and there it is. We should see dummy on the screen. There it is. Okay, and again, we should be able to open up the console. I'm in Code Sandbox, so that's why it looks a little bit different than normal browser. So I can open up the console down here, and I can see props. Right now there is no props because right now it's just this. So I could pass down props by just adding more properties to the HTML tag, or to the dummy tag. So I could just say cheese equals a string. Okay. And see now, props is an object that has a property called cheese called Gouda. But the thing is, you can literally send anything down as props. I could send data as props. Okay, so we'll just say data equals, and then if you want to send anything other than a string, you have to put it in curly brackets. The reason being is that the curly brackets in JSX are a way of you escaping HTML world and going into JavaScript. Anything in the curly brackets is a JavaScript expression. So if I put the number 5 here, it's no longer, oops, I gotta put the curly bracket. If I put the number 5 there, it's not the string of 5, but the number 5. If I were to put the Boolean of true, okay, I get the Boolean value, not a string of true. If I want to send down a function, I can literally just write a function in here. So I can be like function console.log hello world. Okay, and I can see here that I'm sending some sort of function. Okay, I can see that little F for function, and I can actually use that function. So I go back down here, and I can do props.data, because that's what we call the prop, and see it works. Hello world. So we can pass down a function. You can even pass down JSX. So I could actually do this. I can actually pass down h1 hello world. Okay, I'm passing down this JSX now. Okay, well, it's because I'm still using props.data over here, so let me just get that out of there for a second. But now I can see that data is an object, which is really just, like if I look in this object, it's just a React object. Okay, because under the hood, that's really what JSX is doing. It's abstracting all these objects that React is creating. All these React nodes. Okay, but I can use that JSX. I can just be like right over here, return props.data, and see now it says hello world, because props.data equals the JSX that I sent over here as a prop. So you can literally send anything you want as a prop. So that's point number 1. A couple neat tricks with props. Okay, like sometimes these tags get a little crazy with all the objects you have to list in them. So what if I want to list a bunch of props Let me just go back to, oh, we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, let's say I want to do a bunch of props, but I want my code to look cleaner. What I can do here is I can create a variable. We can call it const dummy props, and it equals an object. And that object could have the same properties. So I could say cheese, Gouda. I can say data, which equals the h1 hello world. Okay. And then what I can do is in the dummy tag, I just use the spread operator, dot, 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 and then do dummy props. And what this does, like the spread operator normally does, is that it spreads those props around. Let me refresh this page. Dummy props, dummy props. Expected token, online 22. Oh, this needs to be wrapped in curly brackets. Because again, to do JavaScript stuff, you have to be in curly brackets in JSX. There you go. But see, look, there it is again. There's my props object. Because what this does is that it takes the object and now passes cheese as an individual prop. Takes data and passes it as an individual prop. So it's as if I had just written them in there before. So what I could do is I could pile up all my props in an object and then just pass them in this way. That's a neat trick. Other cool thing you can do is you can destructure your props. So right here, where I'm receiving my props in my dummy function, I could actually just use destructuring right in the parentheses and say, hey, I want to go destructure data and cheese. Okay, so it's not console log props anymore because props doesn't exist. Now I've just automatically destructured data and cheese, but now I can console.log data and cheese. And now instead of returning props.data, I could just return data. Okay, and see, it works. Data is the JSX, cheese is the string of Gouda. And the cool thing about this is more, one, it looks nicer because instead of saying props.data, props.cheese, I just get the variables I want. But also if people pass in like extra stuff in props, it doesn't necessarily get put into the memory while the function executes. So yeah, that's a quick foray into the cool, crazy stuff you can do with props. The only thing else I'd like to point out is that there's also a prop called children that's built into React. So if I go back and do props here, okay, and then we're just gonna say, we'll just say div, and then inside that div is props.children. Props.children, okay. And then I go over here. But instead of closing the tag, I'm gonna keep it open and then put my closing dummy tag over here. And then the children is anything that's in the middle of the opening and closing tag. And see, there it goes, hello world. So even though hello world, I put it here in the app component, because it's wrapped with dummy, it becomes dummy's children and shows up wherever I use props.children. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all the cool stuff you can do with props. Now, the thing is that, again, a parent component cannot receive data from a, basically, data only goes down. So basically, a parent can pass props to its children, but children cannot pass props or data to their parent. So usually the trick here would be to pass a function. So if I wanted to get some sort of data from dummy, I would create some sort of function in app that where I can pass that data to that does what I need to do. Because technically a function that's defined in app has the scope of app, so I can manipulate anything inside of app, and then I pass that function down as a prop, and then I can use that function over here in the dummy function. So just as another side note, that's the way you sort of bring information up the component tree. My name is Alex Merced. This was a quick sort of props masterclass. Hopefully you learned a couple new props tricks. Have a great day and enjoy. I'll see you guys later. Make sure to head over to devnursery.com and join the Slack and Discord community. And I'll see you guys later on.